and welcome again those of you on Gather who are listening in. Very happy to be here today on Easter, and we have a special service. It's what we call our Community Voices service, and this is when we call up several of our ministers to all give shorter talks. But we get to hear a lot of different voices from our community, which is always great and wonderful for us. So the first person I would like to call up here, and we will do them in alphabetical order because we're so traditional. We'll call up Reverend Rudy.
Yeah, Rudy.
Nice round of applause. Oh, we gotta do that. Nice round of applause. Hey, you gotta use the microphone so that we can broadcast them.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Well, it's a pleasure to be part of an organization for going on 30 years. And, you know, we're here and it's Easter Sunday. And this is what a lot of the Christian world does on Easter Sunday. We come and we remember that we are part of a resurrection that, according to tradition, has already happened and is done for us. And our goal, really, is to be that resurrection today. We are having a little class at my apartment Saturday mornings, and Tony has been coming to that meeting. And what we do is we discuss and read the Course in Miracles. And what we add to that is a small discussion about rock lyrics and how pop lyrics actually do influence our view of the world, and again, tie in really well to the Course. So what I wanted to say today is that we do that because it's just what I do, being who I am, doing what I'm doing in ACIM. And it's just natural for me to bring some of those lyrics into context because that's how I learn, and that's how I think I could spring off giving people my experience of the world. So I do this, and Tony, who I really honor him for coming to my class, and he said, well, he goes, you know, Rudy, he goes, these musicians always, they seem to present the problem and they don't really present a lot of solutions. And I thought about that and I said, you know, for just in short, it's pretty true. And Tony, being an elder statesman of A Course in Miracles, and
Cut that elder part out.
being
Okay, older.
he doesn't like that. So, a statesman of A Course, a younger statesman.
It's a younger statesman.
So, the thought is really that there is one song I can present as really a synopsis of pretty much what the Course in Miracles is trying to teach us. Prince was asked many years ago if he had written a song, what song would that have been? And he said, Imagine. If you look at the history of Imagine, wherever it really goes, it ends up in those crucial places that are sort of the heart of what's going on in social strife. And it was even played at the North Korean Olympics, or the Korean Olympics, and presented a plan for peace on the peninsula. So, I mean, this is probably the gravest matter that we've had in the 21st century so far. And the opening of the Olympics is just about this song, written by John Lennon and Yoko Ono. I don't know if you all know, but Yoko had a really big part in writing Imagine. It was her basic idea that if you imagine this, you will get this. And John picked that up and he just put it to music. So the song Imagine was co-written, and it says these words. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us, above us only sky. What that means to me is that this world is really just all sky. It's all sky, and what we bring to the world is we bring our imagination to fill in the canvas of sky. So we imagine onto that sky our destiny and the destiny of everyone else, because we are all one. Imagine all the people living for today. Well, if we're not imagining joy and we're not experiencing joy, well, we haven't really done what the Course in Miracles is asking us to do. Because in the end, our goal in A Course in Miracles is to have joy every moment of every day. The song goes on to say, it says, imagine there's no country. Imagine there's no bodies. Imagine there's nothing to kill for, nothing to die for. Well, anger is never justified. And death, proven by the crucifixion and the resurrection, does not exist. It's just not there. Imagine all the people living life in peace. If you open the Course, our goal is peace. And to have joy in that peace. And to have joy in that peace, we have to have the peace first, which is our forgiveness for one another and for ourselves. And that is my talk today. Thank you.
Okay, great. So now let's bring up our next speaker, someone near and dear to us, because he's here just about every Sunday helping us with the Sunday gathering. So let's give a nice round of applause to Steve.
Yay!
As best you can, talk right into the
Hi
mic.
guys. Well, this is going to be easy because I'm easy to Steve. So hello, and thank you, Rudy. Also, you guys are incredible, and I'm feeling a little small right now, but I'm getting taller as we speak. Just, Lord, simple. Just prevent the grievances from blocking the light of the world within us. Just, God, allow us to be who we are. Allow us constant miracles. Allow us to resolve our problems quicker. Allow us to shift to our spirit regularly, quicker, easy, simple, more automatic. Walk with Jesus in our time of resurrection and crucifixion, which allows us innocence and releases of fear of sacrifice and disappearance of the body. Let us celebrate the Course of Miracles as our path to freedom and more love, for sure. More love, more love, more love. Let's just celebrate the Course of Miracles as our path to freedom now. So let it be all of my ACIM family. We are all one. Let's celebrate. I'm writing this on a plate because we're busy setting up. So, easy Steve. They don't call me that for no reason. So, thank you all. Let's rise to the Lord on Easter. Happy Easter. I love you all. Thank you.
Yay.
Okay, great, thank you. And for our next speaker, so nice for him to be here today. I know they have to travel a long way to be here because he doesn't live in San Francisco anymore. And he brought his whole family, and he brought his new baby.
Wow.
And I love to hear a baby crying whenever we have Sunday gathering, because it reminds me of church when I was a kid. We're always crying babies. That was before they decided that they had to build a little room off to the side to put the crying babies in. And even after they built the room, because people weren't used to that, a lot of people in my congregation and my parish, they just rejected that. They just stayed in the main thing with the crying babies, and they said, you just deal with it. So I hear crying babies, I think church. Okay, so let's bring a nice round of applause for our speaker, Reverend Alex.
Yeah, Daddy Alex.
Very well behaved baby.
That's a very well behaved baby so far.
Yeah, Daddy.
Hello.
Hello.
It works. It does work.
It does work.
Okay. Well, I come here today to give my little talk about Easter and some experience that I've been through life that make me realize what Easter really means to myself and through my journey. Easter, and everybody talk about new beginnings, and it is new beginnings most of the part. My Easter growing up was with my family, my older brother, and my mom. It's a tradition for us. The family built a big nest of chocolates and eggs that they put some peanuts inside with sugar, and they hide through the house. So in the morning of Easter, the fun thing to do is with your brothers is to see who find the first the nest and how much chocolate you get, be better than the other and all the good stuff. But it's other thing that we do in our culture is that after that immediately we jump into the car and we go through the fields to go catch some special flowers that make a very good tea. And if you pick up that flower on the morning of Easter, it makes that flower holy for the whole year. So every time you're sick, you drink a little bit of that tea, and that makes you good for the rest of until you feel better. So that was exciting times to go into the car, and then we all singing and dancing Easter songs, and we all have already our chocolates. Nobody's missing chocolates, and we gather a bunch of kids. That was the fun times to do it. So sometimes I just wonder, like. Why Easter is the new beginning of the resurrection just on the Eastern day and not every day. I started growing up and I started understanding that, like, why did the Catholic religion just bring me to this day to a new beginning when I can have a new beginning every day? So that I started wondering that growing up, and I thought it was interesting that I already got to the point of questioning things, which was for me was a growing part already. So helping my mom and everything she did, one of her jobs, she was a kids entertainer. She used to do parties for kids and put in the walls the designs, and besides that she used to call some lady that does the sweets for the parties, and she was the best part is she was the real entertainer. Sometimes she was a clown, sometimes she was a magician, and a few times I remember she dressed as a bunny. And that was like super fun to see all the kids jumping and see a bunny coming around. So I thought it was interesting. In my part, I was the helper. I was the well-dressed kid on the side that just watch everything. As soon as that trick is over, I clap really fast so everybody started clapping, and it was fun. And every time she needed anything, I politely come and bring it to her, and that was my part. And I really liked that. I started feeling special when I was helping her. And but the moment that I realized that she was able to make a large amount of people happy, and whenever she turns sad, when she stays, she can make everybody sad, I start realizing how much power we have as humans to induce feelings to the others. And for me that was really a growing point, because at the moment that I realized that, I saw that we are in total one. We're not ourselves, just ourselves doing whatever we're doing. We are one, and as more I could accept that as a young teenager, that made me feel better in everything, and even broke some feelings between my mom too, that I was having some awkward feelings that make me feel her part of me one more time. So that was my part that I really like, how I understand that we are one all together, that we don't play separate rules. Even if you do play separate rules, at the end we're doing things for ourselves. To the others is just one big thing. And what I really like to share also on that point is that I realized that how much I was a lucky kid, because I was growing up and seeing my mom making money, making people laugh, making people jokes and people happy. I started realizing if people paid that amount of money to my mom to make them laugh, how much money do I have to gather to pay her to make me every day laugh so much? And I was never gonna have that amount of money because it was such a daily fun that she brought it to me that I realized that was just another miracle in my life.
That's awesome.
Okay, great, thank you, Reverend Alex. Okay, so our next speaker up here, again, somebody near and dear to our hearts because she's here every week helping us put on the Sunday gathering. So let's give a nice round of applause to Reverend Dusa Althea.
Our Dusa.
Yeah, oh yeah, just ours. All of
Remember
it.
to talk right into the mic.
Okay, remember this, remember that.
You don't have to talk about it.
We have to get to talk into this. Can you hear me? Oh, good. Okay.
You're fine. You're fine.
Yeah, that good?
You're perfect.
I guess so.
There you
I
go.
hope so. Happy Easter. You're a great crowd. You responded. Well, I can remember Easter in my childhood. And I remember at Easter, my mother made, it was my mother. She made us these little dresses that was gray and pink with black patent leather shoes. Now, you remember those patent leather shoes?
Yep.
We all had them, huh? Yeah, they were great. And it was wonderful. You know, we would go out into the street and talk to people. And then, besides going to our local churches, there were smaller churches, or they were kind of storefront churches. And we would love to go in there because they really sang. And that was really great to be able to do that as kids. And there are three of us, Yvonne, Cecile, and myself, and I'm the oldest, of course, the ringleader. I led them into these different churches. And so that's really what my childhood was like, you know. We lived on the 5th floor in the Bronx, on the top floor, and then we would run down the steps. We would actually jump a whole flight of steps. And we're lucky we didn't injure or break any bones, but that's what we did. We would just jump. It was like leaping to heaven or something. Who knows? I don't know. Well, that's what we did. Anyway, I was listening to Livan Banzan. She's an African-American writer. And what she said, the first thing you need to do is to fill your own cup. Keep it full. Let it overflow out into the world. But you gotta treat yourself right. Because if you're not treating yourself first, you're not treating God. Because we are all a part of God. Or spirit, as I usually say, but I guess I'm doing this way. Anyway, that's what she says. Treat yourself first. And I thought, you know, I think sometimes we think, oh no, we have to sacrifice. No, we know the Course in Miracles. No such thing as sacrifice. You don't sacrifice anything. You just express love. And if you really express love, and you are love, what more can you ask for? Huh? Anyway, the other thing is forgiveness. We have to forgive ourselves first, and then we know automatically we'll forgive others. If we can forgive ourselves for our foolish ideas and the crazy things that we do, then it's easy to forgive all the rest of you. It becomes easier, at least, eventually. So we ask always to be the person to forgive. Kindness, that is a wonderful little thing. Now, yesterday, as I was sitting on the couch in our building there, Alfredo, one of my favorite tenants, he came by and he had a little bowl. I says, "What do you got in there?" He said, "Oh, Carlos just gave me some food." So I said, "Oh, great." And there was Carlos not too far down the hallway, and he heard me talking to him about this beef stew he had made. Next thing I know, he brought me beef stew. And I thought, that is really true kindness. He didn't have to bring me beef stew. So I had a wonderful dinner of beef stew and everything else that I added to it. But kindness is a wonderful word and a wonderful way to be. We need to be kind to ourselves and to others. So anyway, and in the meantime, I was listening to Marianne Williamson, and what she said is, let us look at the resurrection, not the crucifixion. I think that's an important statement, because if we look at the crucifixion, we'll be hung up and crucified. But if we look at the resurrection, we can all rise to be who we are. Power and love and joy. And we can bring this to everybody. I feel like I'm standing a little stiff, but I can't help it, because I'm trying to keep my voice in this speaker.
And you're doing a good job.
Just remember, we are all love, and let us express it in every moment. That's it.
Lovely.
Okay, very good. And so our last speaker for today, I'm assuming Reverend Lucas is just a hair taller than yourself.
Just a hair.
Just a hair. So I'm just going to raise
Just
it.
a bunny tall.
It's a sideways
A
hair.
little bunny tail. So our next speaker is, again, somebody who is here with us every Sunday, and now one of our AV people and setup people and Sunday service committee people and fellowship committee people. So let's give a nice round of applause for Reverend Lucas.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
April Fools. So my interpretation of April Fools on today of Easter is that, psych, Jesus is not really dead, so.
That's good. That's good.
And also, yes, I know, I could practice that joke a little bit more, but you know, you get the gist of it.
That's awesome.
And also, there just seems a lot of overlapping of things. I don't know where April Fools came from, probably of pagan origin. But yet again, I'm just noticing the overlapping between Judaism and Christianity. So Passover, we're on the second day of Passover. And in Hebrew, I believe it's called Pesach.
Pesach.
Thank you. I'm not Jewish, so I'm just learning these things. And in other languages, it's one and the same of Passover and Easter. It's very similar. And yesterday, I went to my third Seder, and I actually prepared the Seder plate for that event. And I'm noticing that I'm observing Jewish traditions. So that's something that has happened in the recent years since, I guess, studying the course and becoming a reverend. And that's an interesting thing. Just it's something that appeals to me, and in fact, more so than even observing Christian things. So today's the day of resurrection, and this is my third community voices that I've done, I believe. And one thing that comes out for me as far as what's different this year as opposed to the other years is the birth of Lucas. So I started going by Lucas shortly after I became ordained. For some reason, Reverend Leslie did not appeal to me, and so I had another name in line, and it was Lucas, and it's really stuck. I've been asking people to call me by Lucas since May or so of last year. And so I've finally come to the decision that I'm going to start going through the name change process legally. yeah, and so it's been feeling like a slow death, actually, of my former self, of who the persona of like who people wanted me to be, who people thought I was, and wanting to really assert myself as being just authentic me, and that is definitely being Lucas as I'm trying to figure out who is Lucas, like who am I really, who is my authentic self. And so for the resurrection, for this Easter, that's what it means for me, and hopefully that we're all able to resurrect and be able to be our more authentic self. So thank you.
Wow. Okay, great. That's our speakers. Why don't our speakers all stand up and we'll give them a round of applause together. So we get Reverend Rudy, Reverend Lucas, Steve, not quite Reverend yet, soon, and Reverend Alex, and you go ahead and stand, and Dusa, yeah.